Hello and welcome back to another episode of the Strong Collectors Podcast. I'm your host, Dakota, here with my co host, Jordan. And today we are taking a look at our top 10 X Men. So I've got my five, Jordan's got his five. We made sure there wasn't any overlaps. I may have a runner up or two in here, like always. Now, before we get into this, Jordan, I think we got to remind the folks we do have a giveaway going on. We're going to be giving away a Wolverine and Motorcycle Deluxe Pack. You can go back to our Wolverine predictions episode. The rules are in the description there. So you're going to have to go back to that episode, leave a comment, like we say, do all the good things. Make sure you're subscribed. That's number one. And then we will be picking that winner probably in the following week. So good luck to everybody there. We've got a little over 50 entries right now, so pretty substantial. But we'll get that sent out to the winner pretty soon. So I think I'll go ahead and give you my top five X-Men, Jordan. This is, we're sticking with the heroes here, so no villains. I was tempted to put Spiral on the list. I kind of was like, is she hero? Is she villain? I left her off my list. I think it's a great character. If we were saying she's definitively a hero, she probably would have made my list, but, teaming up with Mojo and all that, I never really, I don't know where she stands all the time.
But it feels like a bit of a gray area, Dakota.
Right. So all of my picks are pretty solidly in the hero category. So I'll give you my runner-ups first. These are ones that I like, but they're not quite top 5 material. And this is any X-Men, doesn't have to be X-Men proper. It could be X-Force, X-Factor. They team up with the X-Men. So my first runner-up, I've got two. One is Maverick. I think that's a very underrated figure. I think, if you go back and listen to that Wolverine update prediction video, we talked about maybe getting a new Maverick in a multi-pack with a Team X with Wolverine and Sabretooth. But this is kind of my definitive look for Maverick. I think he's really cool. And then my second runner-up is Colossus. And this is a great Colossus. I actually ended up selling mine just because I think we're going to get another one at some point.
Which Colossus do you refer to, Dakota?
Good point. I'm saying the 2-pack Colossus that came with Juggernaut. I like that kind of standard Jim Lee look. I think we could, maybe get an update. I don't know, pinless. I don't really care too much about the pins because they're all the same color anyway. But I would really like to see some butterfly joints. So I think they could do an updated Colossus. One of my favorite X-Men. Great figure, but just barely missed out on the top 5.
Yeah, I think he's due for an update for sure. I'll agree with you.
I don't mind the bearded Colossus. It's pretty good. I don't know if I've read a story where he's in that costume. Maybe I have, and I just don't remember it so much. I just always think of the Jim Lee looks for, most of the X-Men anyway. My actual top 5 now. We'll go kind of in order here, but it's kind of interchangeable for the most part. I'm going to say number 5 is Storm, and this is from the 2-pack that came with Thunderbird. Another figure that I think is very underrated. I haven't looked at her price recently, but I would assume that it's shot up past the $10 that it used to be when I had her. Because that 2-pack, I think you could buy for $15 easy for quite a while. It was on sale and you couldn't get rid of it. But then, we've seen that look now in the X-Men 97 cartoon. So I think that made it quite a bit more popular. But I think the head sculpt's there, the cape, the lightning effects, she came pretty well accessorized where, maybe Thunderbird took a hit not getting as many accessories because of that. But that Storm is really good. Probably the best Storm out there because I don't really like those paper capes that come with the VHS and the other Storms. So when they come with the better technology for that may be in the running for the best Storm. But right now it's that giant size.
Yeah, I can't stand those paper capes.
No
good.
Number 4 for me, I'll put him at number 4 just because there's probably some recency bias here, but I'm going to say the Astonishing Wolverine. I think that's the new gold standards of Wolverine. I know some people like the X-Men 97. I didn't really like that one so much. Sold it way too early. Should have held on to it till he was going crazy like he is now, but I think I sold him for like retail or maybe even less. But that's how much I didn't like that one. I like the VHS one. That's my probably go-to for the animated look. But for me, since like that Astonishing story is my favorite X-Men story, I think that Wolverine is perfect.
Mm-hmm.
And you didn't get that one yet, did you, Jordan?
I did not, Dakota. No, I've seen it, and you are singing its praises. So I don't know.
Big mistake, Jordan. Huge.
Huge. All right.
Number 3 for me, I'm going to go. I don't know. I don't know how many people would have this in their top 5, but always had a soft spot in my heart since I was a kid. I'm going to say Strong Guy. I think that was towards like the early part of our getting back into collecting was when I was building that Strong Guy.
Mm-hmm.
Um, I think he's probably a little bit easier to put together now. I'm pretty sure that whole wave is on clearance, but um, I think that as a Build-A-Figure is like the perfect look for Strong Guy. You know, he's not crazy articulated or anything, but I don't think you're really going to get Strong Guy in really wild poses. That's the suit I want for Strong Guy. I've got, like I said, there's some nostalgia there. I had an old Strong Guy that went up against my Colossus when I was a kid, and Colossus snapped him in half. So I was like, oh man, always wanted another Strong Guy. So got my pretty decent upgrade from the 90s Toy Biz Strong Guy. Number
And
2. Oh, go ahead. Go ahead.
I was going to say, and yours has not snapped in half.
No, thankfully Hasbro stuff sticks together for the most part a little bit better than the 90s Toy Biz stuff. My
Better
number
than Toy
2.
Biz too, as you know, Dakota. I think you killed
That's
like 3 of my X-Men Toy Biz figures, so that's actually a pattern for you. It sounds like is destroying Toy Biz X-Men figures.
yeah. I mean, I think it was only 2 of your figures though, wasn't it? I don't know. I I was a bit of a menace with the. I don't think that was even my fault. I think they were just kind of prone to
Serial
exploding.
Toy Biz killer. But
Yeah,
we'll talk about that in another episode. Continue.
yeah. My number 2. I'm gonna go with the deluxe Archangel. So this is the one that came with the Apocalypse Claw. You had multiple head options there.
Mm-hmm.
This is usually my go-to look for what I think of with like a Warren Worthington Archangel. I always liked the metal wings more than the feather wings, although I do think that the new Angel is pretty good. I like the wing technology there. I am excited to see. Hopefully, we can get an update of this Archangel because I do think they could do better. But what they've got so far is pretty good. And yeah, I think I would go more this like X-Men look over the X-Force look, and then there was the Hit Monkey, which I think was also kind of an X-Force look. Those are cool, but I'm gonna stick with my Jim Lee looking Archangel. Number 1 for me is gonna be Nightcrawler, and this is gonna be the Caliban-ish Nightcrawler. Actually, no, it's gonna be more the 97-ish because that's more of the parts. But you're gonna do a little combining here because you're gonna need the new body, pinless from the X-Men 97, but then you're gonna
Right.
take the heads from the Caliban and the sword. I don't think the new one came with a sword either. So then that way you kind of get your more comic book look, and because I don't really love the cartoon heads,
No, I don't either.
but
At least not for Nightcrawler for sure. But yeah.
mm-hmm,
Have you
yeah.
done that yet or no?
My Caliban Nightcrawler is somewhere buried in the boxes
Oh,
and
okay.
storage, so I got to dig him out. But
I don't. I
I
haven't
know.
seen anybody do that. I don't. Well, I've heard people say it. I don't know if I've seen pictures of it, but I feel like that would
Mm.
be the way to go. So
Let me know
I
in the
think that
comment.
is
Is my number one
yeah,
pick just not even possible? Like, does the heads not even fit on there? It's got to fit. It's like the same thing.
can't be done.
So
Yeah,
I'll make sure it works. I'll Dremel if I have to Dremel, but
do what you got to do.
I'm excited to get to it. I'm gonna have to dig it out sometime. But
Yeah,
yeah,
that's
that's
cool.
my top 5.
Well, that's a nice segue to my top 5 because my number 5 is a bit of a kit bash cheat as well, I would say, but I think it counts. So I've always, as a kid, I loved the Toy Biz Gambit. I don't think it
Mm-hmm.
holds up as a lot of those Toy Biz don't anymore. And I've never feel like Hasbro's quite cracked the cloak cape
Mm-hmm.
thing. It's tough. I recently in a lot got it's the Apocalypse Gambit, but it's with the I think Toy Biz trench coat. So it's a bit of a like mashup. But I've actually it was one I was going to sell, but it's kind of one of those ones where I'm like, this is actually pretty cool. So maybe I can get some pictures. You can throw those up. But
Okay.
I hadn't seen anybody do that, and I feel like that one looks pretty good as far as like a gambit goes.
Mm-hmm.
I think it works pretty well. So currently, that is like my go-to for gambit, and I think he's a good figure with that combo. So the soft goods work pretty well there. So I'm going to give that one to number 5. My number 4, I'm going to have a Wolverine in here, Dakota. And I do agree with you in the whole VHS versus 97 debate. I think I'm still partial to the VHS Wolverine. Maybe I do like the cell shading. I'm a bit of a sucker for that, but I think he just comes with more stuff as far as, I don't know. It just, I didn't, I'm more happy with that one. The 97 one didn't really supplant it for me. So
Yeah.
that's still my go-to Wolverine, and kind of my gold standard for a Wolverine is going to be VHS one. Also a big fan of, I'll go next with Retro Beast. I think that is a great look for Beast. I think the Apocalypse Wave missed out by not having the more not growly head. So I really like
Mm-hmm.
that they included that. The cloth goods cape, or not cape, cloak, lab coat, it's kind of take it or leave it for me. I don't really think you need it, but I did like the beakers. That was kind of a fun
Mm-hmm.
inclusion. So I think that's, I don't really know how they would improve on Beast from that one, in my opinion.
I
I think
got you there,
that's,
Jordan.
you do?
I think they don't have this yet, but
Okay.
I want to see some swappable feet so that Beast can hold the beakers with his feet.
Wow.
Huh? Yeah.
Okay.
I don't care about the toe joints. I want it sculpted so he can hold a beaker in his toes,
I never even thought of that. Have you been
or
wanting that, or
hang
you
him from
just
a
came to you?
thing. That just kind of came to me as you were talking about the beakers. I was
Okay.
like, oh, because like whenever I think of
Yeah,
Beast, like
that's
in the
true.
lab, especially from the old cartoon, he's usually hanging from the ceiling. So that'd be kind of
Hmm.
cool if you could, either even
Yeah.
hook his feet onto something up above.
Yeah,
So
well, the old school Toy Biz had like the bar in the wall, so maybe
right,
we could someday we could get a little mini piece he could hang on or something. It's a
yeah,
good thought.
that'd be awesome,
Okay. I stand corrected. He could be slightly improved.
but
Um,
barely.
but barely, unless you put some flocked fur on him.
Hmm.
Just his whole body. No. But I like that Beast a lot, and Beast is my favorite X-Man. So that one's really cool. Another one that I really like is going to be number 2 is the
Mhm.
VHS Cyclops, and
Yeah,
I think this one just blew me away. I think it was in my top that year. We had those
yeah.
pretty high. I just for the longest time I just could not stand those weird like ankle
Hmm.
thigh things and the strap on the chest. Horrible. So that one blew me away with the keyed in stuff.
Hmm.
I just like even that head sculpt much better than the 97 one.
Hmm.
The only drawback is not having the like beam thing, but I got the can of beams effect, so that's a nice workaround for me. But I
Perfect.
think overall that one is, again, pretty much everything I want out of a Cyclops. So I think that one is the gold standard for Cyclops for me. And then my number 1, Dakota, you know what I know, and if you've been listening to this show, it's got to be Warlock. And I think similarly to Strong Guy for you, Dakota, I got this one fairly early on when I was hopping back into collecting, and I just think it's pretty objectively great. Though I think
Yeah.
he's a cool character, but I think as for me one of the coolest Build-A-Figures Hasbro's done, in my opinion. I think the
Hmm.
sculpting's great, very unique, poses well, just a nice diversifies your X-Men display.
Hmm.
And I think that one is my all-time favorite, and that'll be my 5.
Nice. So we've got in kind of random order. I have Strong Guy, Nightcrawler, Storm from the 2-pack, Astonishing Wolverine, and then the deluxe Archangel. Jordan's got Warlock, Retro Beast, VHS Cyclops, VHS Wolverine, and his Gambit Kit Bash. Let us know down in the comments what your top 5 X-Men Marvel Legends are. We'd love to hear it. Make sure you are going back to the Wolverine predictions episode, getting entered to
Mm-hmm.
win the giveaway. And until next time, stay strong.